Now it's klezmer music. So a brief explanation about klezmer music. It's the musical tradition of the Jewish people of Eastern Europe. It consists of dance tunes and instrumental display pieces for weddings. Klezmer is identifiable by its characteristic expressive melodies. The earliest klezmer goes back to the 15th century, but klezmer only really became prominent in Eastern Europe in the 19th century. This is an interesting fact I found out. In klezmer, there is a heavy influence of Romany music, since many Jews and Roma lived side by side in Europe. The famous Jewish composer Leonard Cohen composed many songs which had quite a following where the klezmer style was evident. And now the performers tonight are from the Michael Kahan Kapelye. It is Manchester University's klezmer ensemble. It is named after Michael Kahan, a Manchester-based musician who was tragically killed in a random attack on the streets in Crunsell 10 years ago. He had planned to create a student-based ensemble with his musician partner, Ros, before his death. His dream was fulfilled when an ensemble celebrating his memory was founded in spring 2011 by Ros Hawley and Richard Fay. Since then, it has become an established and ongoing component of the university's music department. At the beginning of each new academic year, a fresh generation of budding klezmerin replaces those who have completed the previous year. Some have continued playing klezmer way after university, and some of the original Michael Kahan Kapelye have set up their own bands. And we've used L'Chaim Kapelye for a couple of our Muslim Jewish Forum concerts, big concerts in the past. Now, the person who's produced the two numbers for this evening is on the call tonight, and he's Richard Fay, who started up the Michael Kahan Kapelye in 2011 with Ros. So Richard, over to you, and if you would like to explain a little bit more and also introduce the first number, which I think is the Broyges Tantz. Thank you. Over to you, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, everyone, for inviting me today. We're going to do two klezmer pieces this evening. The first one actually was from last year's group of students. And the way the course works is that they come to klezmer in September, most of them knowing nothing about it whatsoever, and they end up with an assessed concert every springtime. And last year, their assessed concert fell on the first day that the university locked down for the COVID. So they missed this experience of performance. And they were, if you can imagine, like a tightly wound spring. They were all ready to perform, and they couldn't. So they've been kind of missing the experience. So they've stayed together, or some of them have, and they were delighted to actually create the first piece for you tonight, which is called Broyges Tantz, and it melds into a second tune, Mekhutonim Tsum Tish. The first tune really is a dance of anger and reconciliation, a traditional dance with the groom, his father and his father-in-law kind of ceremonially or ritually sort of arguing and making up. And the second tune is all about leading the in-laws to the wedding table. So this is all wedding music. say that was the 9th cohort, and as you can see, they actually did all the recording in lockdown, so they did that in isolation, and all the work of bringing it together. And I think it's worthwhile just emphasising that this none of these students have a Jewish background. This is a sonic encounter with otherness, with Jewishness, and also in a typical year, it leads to actual encounters as well. So they've done parties and things for the Association of Jewish Refugees, for the Heathlands Residential for Home, Manchester Jewish Museum, etc. So it's kind of a musical vehicle for intercultural awareness in the student body at the university. So that's the background.